4 types of foods that can actually increase your risk of cancer. That's right. Did you ever imagine that a food could actually increase your cancer risk? I mean, you probably knew about heart disease and cholesterol and all that other stuff, but you may not have thought about cancer. But guys, believe it or not, and you should believe it, yes, certain food groups and food types can increase your risk of cancer. Guys, I'm Dr. Jen Caudle. I'm a practicing family physician and on-air health expert and a video creator. Let's just jump right in. And by the way, this video is super important to me because you guys tell me all the time that you want to live as healthy as you possibly can and do it as naturally as you can. Well, looking at our diet is a pretty natural way to go. So listen up, okay? The first food group that can actually increase our risk of cancer, guys, believe it or not, is red meat. That's right. When I'm talking about red meat, I'm talking about things like beef, veal, pork, lamb, and goat. Those are some examples of red meat. Guys, you know, eating too much red meat can actually increase your colon cancer risk. That's right. I mean, red meat, first of all, I am a red meat eater. I have to be honest with you. I love a good burger. But we have to be careful in this department. It's important to not eat more than 3 servings per week of red meat. And if you do choose to eat red meat, make sure that you're eating leaner cuts and smaller amounts of it. But yes, colon cancer could be increased by eating too much red meat. Now, kind of along those lines, let's go on to the second type of food. That is processed meats, right? Processed meats are things like meats that are either salted or cured, they're fermented, or they're smoked, okay? That's a processed meat. And some good examples of this are things like hot dogs, lunch meats, deli meats, things like that, ham, bacon. Oh my God, I love bacon, but let's just keep focused. Processed meats, and you say, well, I probably knew those weren't good for me, right? And you're right if that's what you thought, but you may not have known that those types of meats can also increase your cancer risk. That is colon cancer as well. And by the way, I'm not going to say it's only colon cancer because it may be other things as well. So this is really, really important. But yes, processed and red meats can increase your risk for colon cancer. Guys, what this means is as we are looking at our diet, it's going to be very important to minimize these types of foods. Eat them only in moderation and do it very mindfully, okay? Talk about getting healthy naturally. All right, let's move on to our last 2 types of foods. Let's go on to sugary foods, okay? Sugar-sweetened processed foods. Sugar-sweetened foods, processed sugary foods, all that good stuff, right? And I say good stuff because, yes, it does taste kind of good, doesn't it? That's our tasty cakes and our cupcakes and our thises and our that's, but also our sodas and all sorts of stuff like that. Now, you're probably saying, okay, well, I knew those weren't good for me, Dr. Caudle, Dr. Jen. I knew those weren't great for me. And you're right. You knew that, right? We know that sugary foods can increase your risk of diabetes and all sorts of other things, increase your risk of obesity. But did you also know that they could increase your risk for cancer? May not have known that, but yes. And through a couple of different ways they can do this. But the way I'm going to focus on today is through increasing your risk for obesity. Because guys, remember, obesity is a risk factor in and of itself for cancer. And sugary sweetened stuff, the excess of that increases your risk for obesity. So you get where I'm going, right? Sugar can lead to obesity. Obesity can increase your risk for cancer. What types of cancers, you're probably wondering? Well, let me tell you. Things like thyroid cancer, breast cancer, multiple myeloma, liver, gallbladder cancer, kidney cancer, pancreatic cancer, colon cancer, even ovarian cancer. There's actually about 12 cancers that the CDC lists, okay? Guys, this is a big deal. So not only do you want to minimize the amount of sugar in your diet for, reducing the risk of diabetes and all sorts of other stuff, but you also want to do it to decrease your risk for obesity, which can be a risk factor for cancer. And the last sort of type of food is really not a type of food, it's a drink, and that is alcohol. So if you enjoy indulging in an alcoholic beverage, we say moderation is key, right? And moderation means no more than 2 drinks per day for men and no more than 1 drink per day for women. Now you say, okay, alcohol, I know that's not good for me because, well, look at all the many reasons, right? We know that alcohol is not good. But what types of cancers can excess alcohol lead to? Well, believe it or not, it's not just problems with the liver that you might have been thinking about, right? It can actually lead to cancers of the mouth, the throat, the larynx, or the voice box, breast cancer, colon cancer, and even rectal cancer. So, you know what? Cutting back on alcohol intake is important for many, many, many reasons, but it's also important because it can actually help minimize your risk for some of these cancers if you drink too much alcohol. Guys, I hope that's helpful. When we talk about being healthy naturally, that also includes our diet. There are so many things we can do to keep our bodies and our minds healthy. I hope this is helpful. By the way, guys, share this video with other people. Also, if you're not subscribed to my channel and click the little bell, I invite you to do so. Guys, I do daily videos on COVID, on health topics, you name it. Guys, I'm Dr. Jen. I'll see you soon.